I was gonna say I feel like some of these some raps that I hear that people I feel like they proud about saying that they don't write it. Y'all probably should. Some of y'all probably should write it. If you're a fan of rap, then you probably heard of the debate between if you write or if you just go in there and you freestyle or punch in. Today we're gonna discuss which one of those are a better method or just what people prefer. Comment if you have a particular way you like to record, whether you write it down, punch in, or some other way we ain't heard of. Maybe we just freestyle for 4 minutes off the top. Let us know.
Music up until about 20 years ago was always recorded on tape. It's more of a process. It's a lot more laborious, a little bit more tedious.
I've watched Tupac giving a speech. Hey, we have 2 hours of studio time. Come here, people.
We don't have time or the luxury to spend all of this time doing one song. We don't have it.
But now we don't got to worry about that because a lot of people got home studios or, they cool with the engineer, producer, like whoever, got the studio or making a beat or something like that.
Fast forward a little bit. Word starts to spread, mid to late 90s that Jay doesn't actually write any of his rhymes down.
So you literally come in the studio and then formulate sentences in your head.
Yeah.
And then spit it to that beat.
Yeah.
And you never write down the lyrics.
Never.
Which leads to other rappers wanting to do the same thing.
I found out that Jay wasn't writing. I didn't want to ever see a pen or paper again.
He has class, first in the lunch line. My lunch ticket let me eat rappers at lunch.
What I know is when you see your hero can jump 7 feet, it makes you want to jump 8.
If it depends on me, 10 out of 10.
I was gonna say I feel like some of these some raps that I hear that people I feel like they proud about saying that they don't write it. Y'all probably should. Some of y'all probably should write it. Just to give a little bit, yeah.
Telling me you falling out of love with me.
I came up out the trenches, then I had...
Problem is that not all of them are as great or as capable of doing it.
Yeah.
True.
Turn me
PS1.
up in my ear.
I'm leaving that body. How about this break catching body? How about this break catching body?
God, you ever write raps down?
Hell no.
See, and this is kind of like what I'm talking about right now. Like, yeah, you can't really be the person that like talk shit about a person who write when you're essentially doing the same thing. You're just not right. It's like it'd be like if I'm like, oh, you write on pen and paper. Psh, I write on my phone. What are you talking about? Like, you're essentially doing the same thing. You just have a recording method. You don't need to write it down. You're recording it on the software you're recording on. So you could literally keep listening to the same line, just like a person could read the same line until you get the next line, right? And you can just say and keep going and keep going and keep going. I don't like that. Let's scratch that. Keep going, keep going. Hey, keep that part right there. I'm gonna change this part out. Keep going. Like, yeah, you making a song, but it ain't no different than what you would do with a pen and a paper. It's the same thing. I feel like people look at this I don't write as like the optics of it looks like they just go in the studio, they hear the beat, and within 30 seconds they just like spit the entire song. They never stop. One take, they punch in, punch out, and let the engineer work. Like, that's not what y'all in there doing. Y'all in there scratching your fucking heads. Y'all in there listening to the beat again. Maybe even change the beat because you got nothing to it. You probably do this and this. And it's like, come on, bro. Like, yeah. Or I guess another thing could be a scapegoat. I never thought about that until just now. It could be a scapegoat for bad artists or for lines that may not be that good. Like, oh, I didn't write it down. I was just freestyling. Even though we know freestyling is not what freestyling is anymore. Like, it's not you going off the top. You probably just writing something that you wrote down and nobody heard or never put to a beat or something like that. But you have it memorized. Most people don't freestyle, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty positive about that. But yeah, I think it's probably just a scapegoat. Like, oh, I'm just spitting off the top of my head. So, if the line is bad, it's just what I thought of. Like, nah. Because if you wrote it, then they'd be like, oh, you consciously looked at that, read it over, read it again, listened to it again, blah, blah, blah. Like, you approved of that line. But
that's no pen, no pad. They're just going in and punching in.
Punch method.
Punching, recording.
Punching 3 more bars.
I ain't never wrote raps. I just be rapping.
Do you write or do you
punch in? I punch in. I don't write.
Today, Pro Tools is essentially like the pen and paper, and that's where.
now, if you're not dissing it, that's cool. Like, if you're not like, I don't rap, I ain't saying nothing against, like, I don't write, I ain't saying nothing against people that write or nothing like that. Like, that's cool, but I feel like some people say it like in a condescending way, like, oh, I don't write my raps. But it's like, What are you inferring? Like, what's the sub meaning of what you just said there?
It becomes this different type of art form.
It's improvisational versus writing the stand-up piece. You know what I mean?
It's like freehand versus tracing.
Oh, okay.
See what I'm saying? So that's like a diss to it. It's like freehand versus tracing. Like, really? Writing it down is tracing now? Like, no. Having somebody else write your raps and you rap it is tracing. You know, hearing what somebody else said and you just copying their lines because you like the line, that's tracing. Writing it down is not tracing. It's just as much freehand. Like, at the most I give you, it's like one person's doing paint and one person's doing pen and paper, like a pencil or something, like drawing that way, or you know what I mean, coloring versus this. Oh, what's up, Fred? Yeah, but it's no in no way, shape, or form is it that.
That part from me, just punch me in now. Hello, like right snake.
And then again, something like this. What is writing stopping you from doing with this shit? Like, how does punching in a better method? I'm not saying it's not. I'm just curious. Why would it be? What would be the difference if you just doing this shit when you went in there?
The artist might not really have the song written, but they're not necessarily freestyling in the traditional sense where they're just going in and saying the first thing that comes to mind and they're doing that for 4 minutes straight.
That's what I'm saying.
Punching in like saying one bar at a time.
I got these resin can't fold in the wallet, you making the peasant. I got these resin can't fit in the wallet, I'm stacking the bigger deposit.
Definitely one line at a time.
Don't you do the same thing when you write? Like, any artists out there that write lyrics, like, don't y'all do the same thing? Don't you? I like that. I don't like that. I don't do that. Why you gotta be the center of attention? But yeah, don't y'all do the same thing?
Hit the store and don't leave them dead bodies. Hit the store and don't leave them dead bodies. Hit the mall and don't leave them dead bodies. Hit the store and don't leave them dead bodies.
Then you say the net bar, then you say the bar out there, and you play it all together, you sound like a whole sentence.
I got these resin can't fit in the wallet, I'm stacking a bigger deposit. Hit the store and don't leave them dead bodies. Book a fly and get higher and higher.
They're using punching in as a way to create their rhymes as opposed to a way to correct their rhymes. It's I feel it's really just a generational thing.
But you don't think you could end up with something better if you sometimes wrote some stuff?
No.
It's just not for you.
Nope.
I can understand how writing. I do know people that do not like the writing process because when you're just going, you just like rapping and you feeling it, and you can just like you go off the energy of the room and you do stuff like that, and you feel comfortable with that song, with like what you've made. And if you write it down, some people get writer's block. Some people, it is a different feeling to write it down. That don't mean it's bad or it's wrong or we should diss it or it's less than. It don't mean that at all. It's just a different thing. Some people just being themselves in a corner, just like, and some of those people I know that do that, bro, they be killing this shit. Like, they be smoking their bars. It's like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, so at no way, shape, or form, I'm about to look at them and be like, oh yeah, less than. No.
That
Rap has grown, rap has evolved, and there's always good and bad when it comes to evolution. What we're seeing is a lot of the same lane being explored over and over again.
People think, oh, they just rap about this, or they're just rapping about like the easy rhyme scheme or the easy, but to be in a studio and write 5 songs a day, 7 days a week about new topics and make it sound different, it's very, very impressive.
it is.
That's true, but how much of it is different topics? I don't see a lot of people doing that. But oh my,
Boy. Yeah, it is more to it.
Instead of one song for a week, it's 5 songs a night, and we keep it pushing.
Not that artistry isn't appreciated, but it's more so like, all right, how fast are we getting this done?
We don't come under the umbrellas of the people who write raps like J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar.
I get where you might be going with this line, but look who you just named. Like, I mean, are you kidding? You shitting me right now? Like, who wouldn't want to be under that umbrella? I get it, though. You understand how you be in your own lane, but technically not even really in your own lane. You're in the lane of millions of others. But
all right. And I'm just saying that the unprofessional rap culture is what I'm a kid of. Guys who like, I'm
cool.
just a street cat and I'm rapping.
I jumped out the poacher and bought me a gun.
I just want like people to know that, like, you're not Jay-Z, you're not a failure.
It's about you. Whether you're writing on a phone, a piece of paper, punching in, off the dome, it doesn't matter.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying nothing against the people that punch in or do nothing like that. I'm not saying nothing like that. I just don't like them dissing other people that do their methods a little bit differently. If you do it method, hey man.
Rapping to me like coming from like how I feel right then and there. Like me writing down ain't gonna be the same energy me saying it.
You can't really hold your technique over a younger generation's head, right? Ultimately, it is about just getting the best end result.
I done got rich off the sticks.
I respect it all because it all takes work and it all takes thought. Whether you're sitting over a pad,
because you still got to make a good song,
or you got to spend 4 hours figuring it out, piecing it together, punching in. At the end result, moves people emotionally. The art is worth it.
I agree. Yeah, man. Let me know in the comments. Do y'all punch in? Do y'all write? Do y'all care about either? Do you see one as less than? You know what I mean? Let me know.